doing a bridge inspection here on the I-40 Mississippi River Bridge. We just found a super critical finding that needs traffic shut down in both directions on the I-40 Mississippi River Bridge.
We had a critical find on the bridge, and we need to get traffic off of it immediately. So we need to shut it down in both directions, and I think we'll need to assistance with that.
Almost to the end of the first quarter of that bridge, panel point 22, just doing our sweep of the bridge and look down and see a gaping hole. But it's by far the worst one that I've ever seen. And I called our leaders, John Zulegger and Alicia McConnell, to let them know about what I found. Of course, their reaction was stunned disbelief as well.
So I walked back to where Fred was. He pointed out what he saw, and it was utter shock. I remember looking at it thinking that it can't be real.
Once I saw those pictures, I knew we were going to have to get into action. Having Jeff Sams at one end of the bridge, he serves as our senior chief, and his experience is invaluable on an inspection like this.
It was a defect that was had the potential for catastrophic collapse. It was critical enough that we needed to close the bridge immediately, and we didn't have time to wait until the emergency services from the 911 call could respond.
The Arkansas State Police lieutenant came up to me and said, "What do we do next?" And it was, "Sir, we're going to have to close down the Mississippi River. You're going to have to contact the Coast Guard."
I called Jason. I was like, "I need you to get everybody in design that would be a part of this on the horn pretty quickly, because I've just closed down I-40 across the Mississippi River, which is essentially the trucking route for the Eastern Seaboard."
Jeff Sam said to me, "Jason, I just shut down the I-40 bridge. Did I do the right thing?" I said, "I don't know, Jeff. Why did you do it?" He said, "Well, I've got a crack out here." "Well, how big is it?" He said, "I can stick my hand into it."
I was relieved that they were able to find the fracture like they did. Their reaction to quickly close the bridge was a good move on their part, and I was very glad to see how they reacted to the situation.
We had two operations going on. One was getting rope access, getting me down where we could get the dimensions of this defect, and the other was getting the drone up in the air. And now we'd added a new element, and that was, can we live stream from a drone if we were to get a conference call together?
Hanging under the bridge, we had a conference call. I was sitting in Kentucky while Jeff, listening on a conference call, could hear me out on the bridge. Now, not only could he hear me, but we had our drones out there scanning Jeff and watching him. So we were having a conversation while he was inspecting it with myself and people from a dozen different offices, listening, asking questions, and getting immediate feedback from him on what the condition of the bridge was.
We had engineers in multiple states that were literally on the bridge with me.
We were able to create 3D modeling to model the structure in its entirety, to see how parts would fit together from a contractor standpoint, and to think about the actual constructability of the repair itself.
The bridge is co-owned by Tennessee and Arkansas, so we share the cost for inspection. We share the cost of repairs. When this was found, the Tennessee Department of Transportation, who was responsible for the repairs, hired Michael Baker International to fix the bridge and get the bridge back open to traffic.
So everybody was brainstorming, saying this is critical, this is a very big deal, we want to make sure we do this right. And so just already brainstorming from the second you saw it of how can we fix this? What are we going to do about this?
Aaron Stover, who I called almost immediately, got on the phone, and we started getting lots of resources available to our team to make sure that we could start working on these problems and thinking ahead. What are the things that need to happen, and what are the next steps in those first critical hours and really those first critical weeks that we were working on the project?
Yeah, obviously beyond the initial fracture, we had to come up with a game plan. We were in constant communication with TDOT and RDOT as the situation unfolded. The days were very long in the beginning, and we were working through the plan. Initially, TDOT set out some goals, and the initial goal was to make sure that we could get the bridge reopened to navigation traffic. It was pretty clear immediately just how quickly barges can stack up on the Mississippi River. So that was first and foremost, was make sure that the bridge was stable so that we could get it reopened to river traffic. The longer term goal that they established, which eventually became phase 2 of the project, was to get it reopened to vehicular traffic. As we worked through the problem, as we found out the answers to those phase 1 and phase 2 challenges, We began to then look at phase 3, which was the longer term assessment to make sure that the entire structure was in good shape and fit for service to be reopened to the public. So the client's decision to make this project a CMGC and bring the contractor in early in the process was tremendous for the success of the project. We knew going into the phase 1 repairs, we had a pretty good solid repair plan. Once Kiewit got on board, they recommended a few little tweaks and changes, and it was really very helpful to have them involved and engaged from that early part of the process. Overall, the collaboration between TDOT, RDOT, Michael Baker, Kiewit, it was instrumental in making this project a success. In the simplest of sense, what we did to repair this bridge was almost like putting a splint on it, if you want to think of it that way. Phase 1 was, we called it the splint sometimes, we called it the Band-Aid as well. It was essentially stitching two pieces of member together with a bolted connection. So a very simple, very robust way to connect this, but that was what we were going for here, was something tried and true and what we could get done. The phase 2 repairs were also a very simple procedure that we'd modified from the Sherman-Minton Bridge. In that, we had done some external plating to produce some redundancy on that bridge. We took that same concept, but we added the element of using post-tensioning to kind of pull the bridge back together to relieve some of that stress before we bolted it up over 4 segments of the bridge.
So the third phase was fixing all the other details that were similar to what happened here and knowing which needed to be fixed and which didn't.
So phase 3 for the project was looking at the additional weld failures along the bridge. And my role on the project was to go through the weld reports that we were given by the inspectors and to create tables that showed the welds, their locations on the bridge, and our proposed fixes for those failed welds. And along with that, I also created a plan set for the contractor to use on site during repair that showed where all of those weld locations were along the bridge.
The fracture was found on May 11th. Phase 1 was put on the bridge May 25th. Phase 2 was put on the bridge, all the post-tensioning removed, the permanent repair at that fracture location, July 2nd. And then we had the rest of the bridge repaired before the end of July.
After all those days and weeks, it felt great to have this bridge reopened, and grateful of the team we were able to work with in this. And I think that's really that heart of that message of we make a difference in our communities, and working with this team was really successful, so appreciate all of that once it was reopened.
As the project manager for the project, I was extremely excited when the bridge opened. I mean, it was a sense of relief, really. Our team had been pushing very hard for a couple of months to see that goal. And to have that come to reality, we kind of knew mission accomplished. That was a tremendous feeling, because we knew the importance of the crossing and we knew what it meant to the city of Memphis and West Memphis.
We know that infrastructure is important to the economy of Tennessee and the nation, so using this bridge as an example of why we need to have better funding was a once-in-a-career type project, and one that's very difficult to prepare for, but just having a good team involved helps make a project like this a success.
For me, being part of the Michael Baker team means I get to be associated with greatness. I hold the company and everything that we do in such high regard, and I get to be part of that. It's an incredible experience being part of some of these projects, major projects all across the company, being part of Hernando, being part of the solution, and all the great work that Michael Baker does as a whole, working with experts and true professionals across the company, is very rewarding, and it's why I love being part of the team.
I work with a lot of amazing people, and one thing I really love is that they want me to learn and they want me to succeed.
Being part of the Michael Baker team has been an absolute joy for me. Being with such dedicated individuals, such great collaborators on a project like this, it just exemplifies what we can do, what difference we make, because we do make a difference as Michael Baker, and we're able to move forward and change communities and change lives because of the collaboration and the people that I get to work with on a daily basis.
Over 20 offices across the country that contributed to this inspection and repair, and I really enjoy the fact that people come to work every day to do their very best work.
The talent at Michael Baker International, to me, is unrivaled. I've always been proud of every single project that we've had the honor to work on, and this one was no exception.
So I'm tremendously proud to have worked on this project. For me, this has been the culmination of 20 plus years of my career, and Michael Baker has put me in a place where I'm able to work on projects like this and really to lead them effectively as well. It's been a wonderful place to work for 20 plus years, and it'll be a wonderful place to work for the rest of my career. It's given me the opportunity to work on tremendous projects like this and keep me really excited and engaged throughout my entire career. Every time you're looking for an opportunity, all you got to do is just say, I want my next challenge, and you'll find it.